viewers, and welcome back to the Self-Made Auto Channel. We get started back on the Jeep. Rear end's done, 100%. Even got my tires. I'll show you what I've chosen for tires, what we're going to be running on this. Our last video, I think we left off with doing the cross member, removing the factory cross member, putting the new lower control arm mounts on the back there. That all went pretty smooth. The only thing I've done since then is I've removed the transfer case drop brackets, or the little spacer blocks that go in on the transfer case. It appeared to me that, yes, they'll definitely function. It looks like it's going to be 100 times easier to put the lower control arms on without them, in the sense of getting the nut in there and being able to get a wrench on it. So I just temporarily took them out, and will more than likely leave them out unless I have some driveline vibrations. I do know that they recommend using them. We'll see how it works. I am getting custom drive shafts for the front and rear with double carbon U-joints on them, so I don't know if we're actually going to have any kind of vibration problems. I guess we'll leave them out and cross that bridge when it comes. I started to get some stuff around, so these are the new lower control arms, and I've already gone through and put in their bushings. This is a lower, this one here is also a lower, and then our new upper. I showed you guys how to do those bushings way back when we did the rear control arm. Super simple, extremely well made. Very impressed with them. I did not put the grease fitting in this one yet. It came with a straight and a 90. I don't know which one we're going to need. I put the bushings in the new adjustable track bar. Started kind of trying to find some of our hardware. Now these are our spring retainers that are going to go in the front, keep our leaf springs from falling out. Of course, I think I told you we got our new front axle shafts in, so we'll be doing that. Some wheel bearing spacers in that box. I think these are going to be some control arm spacers, just like we had to do in the back. And then of course we have some more, kibbles and bits over here, some stuff for the shocks. These are going to go, the factory shocks are, a stud style that goes right up through the body, like that, pretty standard. It does come with these little U brackets we put on there because the new shocks I've got over here, they have just a standard eyelet on. And of course I've got the 12 millimeter bushings in there, and then I put the bar pins in the bottom, which I'm not super satisfied with. I actually not satisfied myself because I was pushing this one in and it actually split the bushing, actually cut the bushing. They're pretty tough to get in. I mean, I had them lubed. I did the best I could. It was just super tough to get in. I don't 100% care for this. I think what we're probably going to do, we're going to have to look to see how they're configured on the Jeep. And then, obviously, I've got to get new bushings for them. I think I'm going to just build something like this for the bottom, perhaps with the two studs off from this, and then totally eliminate this bar pin that goes in these shocks. For the time being, I think we'll be able to use it and get away with it. It didn't, it didn't rip the bushing bad, but it put about a 1/2 inch split all the way across it. So, that's that. That's where we're at. These are the tires I chose. So they're Cooper Discover STT Pros. I've ran the Cooper Discover STs in the past, the STTs, the ST Maxes. I've always had pretty good success with them. These are a 10 ply. Let's see, they're a 295/70/17. These are just about 34 inches tall on these wheels. They're just about the max width that I can run on a stock wheel. So that's kind of what they look like. Not a huge fan of white letters, so I flip them in. And that's about all there is to see there. Pretty cool tire. Hopefully they hold up well for us. Let's go ahead and pull the wheels. According to step 26, I think we're on. We have to remove all the upper and lower control arms in the front, so that's just going to kind of leave the axle cut loose. Shocks are still on it, tracking bar is still on it, steering, so it shouldn't really go too awful far. But we're going to take and pull the arms off. I think I have this putting in brake line spacers. Take the front drive shaft loose, I think was on the agenda also. So we'll get started. I don't know what, I should know because I should have read directions which hardware we're going to use, so we're just going to save all our hardware. The axle's probably going to want to shut back on us when we take the bolts out, I'm sure. Yeah, she popped back a little bit there. Not too bad. Still have one upper arm on this side, which I think they use a Torx bit. Keep your head out of the way, she got a swing on us. I can get you right in the teeth. That's what we're standing right here. We'll just pop this front drive shaft off. What is it, a T something here, T30 I guess. I think our new drive shaft comes with a new yoke. I don't know if they use a different size U-joint or what the story is there. Good pry bar. Oh, that really needed, I guess. There's that. And our new drive shaft comes with a longer slip in it, quite a bit heavier tubing. So, alright, so we're just going to take, I don't know, I'll just take the little guy right out, but we'll just leave her swing for right now. Let's see if we can get these uppers loose. Take a T50 Torx bit here on the outside of this one. Then a 15 mil that is on the floor, and I'll just get this one over right here. Whoa. There we go. Find that nut. Come on, fella. Oh, we should have got new bushing for the axle. But we didn't. Now, I believe the bolt for our uppers is way down yonder. I can't see in there. It looks like probably a 15, I'm guessing. If I was a gambling man. Sounds like a good hole number. Oh, good thing I'm not gambling. Let's try it. Let's go down again. Let's go down. Should probably like put the Jeep up a little bit higher so I can really see it, huh? Oh, this thing made in America? Oh, it's got a 10 on it. It should be metric, right? Just like I said, 13. And that's got a little stopper inside the frame, so if you're giving it the classic reach around, beware of your fingers. This little sucker will come around and get you if you got your digits in the wrong spots at the wrong time. Unique looking bolt, huh? Alright, there's that one. Just going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to pull off the brake hose here. They sent some spacers with it, which I assume are these. We may have to unhook our ABS wire temporarily. Let's see. Spacer is going to go underneath it. Yeah, let's just take and cut our ABS wire loose for right now. We'll come back and rearrange that. I'm just going to open up this clip. Let's get it off the hose. It did come with some new bolts. Let's make sure they're the right size here. Looks like they are. Yep. Alright, so we'll start this fine. And like I say, we'll fish our ABS wire around where we need it. So I think at this point the directions I'm probably a little bit mixed up because we got kind of like two kits going together here. We've got the the regular 6.5 inch lift kit, and then we're adding these rock link arms on, so I don't know at what point they assume where we're at, but I guess it really doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Well, I'm concerned I tend not to follow directions very well anyways, I guess. Or screwing bolts, as we're seeing. What's the matter with you, fella? There she goes. I'm going to tighten this one up very gingerly. It's all about trigger control, folks. Trigger control. See if we can kind of line that up in the middle there. I would do that by hand. That's not a lot of purchase here on those threads. Like I say, we'll reroute our ABS wire if we have to. I mean, right now it's just down on the bottom half of the spring perch here. Probably won't cause any issues. Looking at it, we might just take the clip off it. I think we'll just take the clip off it for the time being. I had a knife. There we go. Open that up, we'll save it just in case we need it or need to relocate it or reattach it, but I'll do the other side. So we got the spacers on. They want us to chop off. What do you want me to do, chop it off? Your factory lower control arms, and it's making me sweat thinking about it. Once you chop these off, there is no going back, ever. I think at this point though, I think if we were following the directions the right way, combining the two, I think we would have had our springs and stuff in it now. Tracking bar is still on it. I want to be able to lower our front axle, so I'm going to undo the shocks. Sway bar links are still hooked up. I don't want it to get away from me because we have our jack off centered. I've already got the shock on the other side undone. We'll see what happens over here. Make sure it's not going to get hog wild. Shouldn't. Kind of some famous last words though, right? Alright, so there's that. Now our axle's going to want to come down and go, driver's side. There. Now we've got her kind of hanging down. I'm wondering if what we should do is get our new lower control arms hooked up just to kind of regain some control here of the front axle. That way it's not going to get all tippy on us and accidentally lose it or something. That's what I'm curious of. So that was just the front springs popping out. It's actually pretty stable, leaving the track bar there and also leaving the sway bars or the sway bar links hooked to it. It does give us the ability to take our springs out. So that's what I'm thinking. It's got a brake hose stretched pretty dang tight right there. So it can't really come down much further than that, right? With short of moving our brake hose, because that is stretched about to the max. So I think what we will do is we'll just temporarily install our upper control arm. Now they give you the measurements on these where they want you to set them initially, and I've already done that. So our axle's quite a bit over towards the driver's side. We may have to unhook the track bar to get it where we want it. So I'm just going to stick that in there. Because we're big time towards the driver's side, but let's see, we'll probably have to roll the axle ahead a little. Yeah, I think we'll be okay. Grab a bolt. Other thing I'm kind of curious about is, I don't know if with the control arm on it, if it's going to really inhibit us from, coming back and cutting these factory brackets off or not. We shall see, I guess. Take and just jack this back up a little bit here. What's that? Let me get a bar. Just so we're not going to be fighting this track bar. Really? They put that in right behind that bump stop? Awesome, Dodge. Must be a Jeep thing. I took that lower bolt out of this track bar too. I just think it may help us from, getting bound up here. Let's see if we can't just move it down. Alright, so there's that. So it is loose off the axle. That's a really sweet design there, huh? You got to take the bump stop off, evidently. Push it aside or get mean with it or something here. Regardless, we'll just leave it for the time being. Don't you fall off there, little fella. Oh, we got ways to go back, don't we? Probably doing this all back-asswards, but we'll manage. Live and learn. Right. Well, you're close, buddy. There she is, okay. See, we'll just temporarily stick these arms on just to give our axle some stability. We kind of progress backwards in some steps here, so I should have bought a new bushing for that. We're gonna have to get a bushing for that and press that in. It's not completely tore away, but it does look like it's pretty well deteriorated. Now we'll take and put on one of the lowers. Stick it up here first on the subframe. Stop. I guess be mindful of your grease fitting. Obviously, wherever you're going to end up adjusting it in the end, you're going to have to rotate your grease fitting, but if you get it in the wrong position here or just let it go, it's going to want to go up and just snap that grease fitting off, so I guess be careful of that. Now it did say to use 2 spacers on the outboard end of the bushing, I believe it said. We will double check that. So just like we did in the rear, except the rears went on the inboard. Let's get this to hold my spacers for me. There's that one. Bend goes towards the inside. Definitely have to cut our brackets because I think when this comes up, it'll definitely hit them. Alright, get an idea of what it's going to start looking like under here. So with the control arms on loosely, I have to set the vehicle back down because, we probably should have removed the shocks back in step 40 something. So I'm going to go up top. Remove the shocks, which are already loose, so these things were clanking around when I bought it, and I was able to weasel that track bar bolt out of there. Just had to kind of tweak it and twist a little bit, and so I've removed that. So let's see here. If you hear a thud, it's just me. I don't know if I can reach this from the ladder or not. Let's see. Oh, look at me. Sounds like it came off. It did. I'd like to save these shocks from my red Jeep at home, if I can. So the nut came off, upper bushing and washer. Now we have to put those other shock kits we have on there. That's a pretty good size hole. That's going to give them just about any placement possible. Alright, well, I don't think they came with any directions either. So this is the kit for the Bilsteins that go on the front. And I'm assuming I guess the best thing to do would be to stop and try to get a hold of Iron Rock, but anytime I do something, it's on a weekend and I don't believe they're open. So it's got a huge hole it goes through. It does come with, you know, washers, and I don't know if they're double stacking them. Was this a 1/2 inch washer? It's a 9/16, I guess it would be. So I don't know from up top if they're getting double stacked. I'm going to assume so because it came with a cross bolt. You know, another, I don't know, it's 12mm 1/2 inch cross bolt, I guess it would be, that goes through the shock, and 2 more flats, you know, a bolt and a nut. So I'm assuming we're going to go like this, have them out as far away from the body as possible, and then I can only imagine the bigger bolt, or the bigger washer, smaller washer, and then, you know, lock washer and that nut. So I'm going to get these started. I'm going to need some assistance. Go ahead and stick it in there, Marie. If I am doing this wrong, I will make an amendment to this video. I'll call Iron Rock on Monday. Actually, the guy I deal with, Joe, I don't think he's there on Monday. Hold that bolt in the middle, Marie. Are you holding it? That's how good. That. Somewhat snugged up like so. It looks legit. I'm going to do the one on the other side. I'm assuming that they're going to go in this direction, you know, bolt facing out, because they are offset. Just a big fat guess at this point. So now we have to tap the upper spring mount for the spring or the spring retainer. Basically, it's a long section of pipe or aluminum piece, I guess. But this is tapped out 1/2 inch 20. Now this is paper thin. I think the torque spec on them was super low too, like 60 inch-pounds or something. I'm just going to run a tap up through there. Like I said, I think it's only going to cut us maybe 1 or 2 threads. And I just have to do the same thing on the other side. So these are the spring stops. Put some red Loctite on it. Like I say, it's only like 1 thread there. I suppose if this doesn't work out in the future, we're going to have to come up with a plan B. You know, either put probably what I would do is put you know, a rivet nut up in there, nut cert. Would probably be the best option. They're not structural, so I guess it really doesn't matter. About 60 inch-pounds, so you just barely snug them up. I'll leave it at that. So I'm going to cut the front sway bars loose here. There's that. Whoa! So I think before we cut the other sway bar link loose on that side, being the axle's kind of hanging free, we should probably put in the spring and the shock on this side to hold it, then go cut the other side loose. Brake hose is getting kind of tight, so I'm going to take that back out. Just that way there we don't overstretch it, because I'm thinking the springs are going to be pretty snug. We're going to want as much room as we can get. I've just transferred the isolators from the old springs onto these ones. Now the lowers have a little donger sticking off there that you have to line up and not crush the ABS wire at the same time. So we'll see how this works. It should be fun. Oh, not bad at all if you get your fingers out. There we go. Look at that, it's actually kind of easy. So we're going to put the shock on. Remember with the Bilsteins, you got to be able to read the letters, as we learned the hard way. I'm assuming that we're using the correct hardware. This is stuff that came with the brackets. bit snug in there. I'm going to spread that open just a little bit, if we can. Minor tweak. Just does not want to go up all the way. The outer one does. Inner one does not. There it goes. So it's going to be pretty snug getting the nut and washer back there. Real snug. Well, I guess we don't have to do that for right now. We'll get the bar pin here, push back up in on the bottom. There we go. And then one of the kits had a bunch of, I don't know if they're 8mm, 5/16, I guess, maybe. Just this way here, we can go get the spring put in on the other side too. Get the bolts back in that, get our brake hose hooked back up. These are 5/16 bolts. I see they take a 1/2 wrench, so. And I have no nut on the bottom. So these would be just put on temporary because of the bad bushing here. And I think it'll be really easy to do a, bar pin eliminator. I'll get some metal and we'll make up ears like what are up top for down here. Weld some studs on it. I think we'll be good to go. For the time being, we'll just snug these up. So that side being held, I'm going to pull this sway bar link off. Now that we've got that side being held, I didn't put the brake hose back on just yet. So I want to accidentally rip it. That side actually needs a new hose. I've got the case of the dropsies. And the tripsies today. Not doing good today, folks. Alright, so that is that. Now we should be able to lower this side down. I'm going to unhook the brake hose over here also, just to be safe. Let her stretch. So I don't accidentally damage anything. And we should be able to put the spring in. Ooh, all that rust. Only rust on the old Jeep. I didn't spray the other side. I probably should have. We can hang it back down and give it a little toot. Just to be on the safe side. I just took a hammer and chipped quite a bit of that rust off there. I guess if that's the worst rust we have, we're in good shape. Alright, ABS wire's just starting to get tight there. Again, the lower isolator has a dowel on it. We'll have to slip the top on, make sure it's in place. This side's way easy because I got it way down. We run that jack, Marie. Alright, just a second. Okay, keep going. Just had to move my ABS wire out of the way. Keep going. That's good. Alright, beautiful. And then we will get the shock. Put the shock in here. You can see the upper mount there. Everything fits nice and easy. I probably will. I should spray under that mount over there because I don't think these are going to come back off, or perhaps I can do it when we take the shock back off and we get rid of them bar ends. All right, we'll get the shock. Same thing as the other side, not going to show the side. Probably going to tweak this mount out too, just a little bit to get that shock up in there. So now that the front end is basically supported, you know, control arms are in. Of course, none of the bolts are tight, shocks are in. We don't really have to worry about it getting away from us. I've got some JKS, I believe that's what brand they are, yes, JKS sway bar disconnects. So I'm going to finish pulling the OEM sway bars off. Get my impact going the right direction. Baby, she's snug. Well, we're going to get something with a little more beef. See if this works. We're going good, and then she just got snug, real snug. Yeah, wow. I have to go to plan C. Oh yeah. Plan D, the torch. I thought these Southern cars were supposed to be easy to work on. I don't know what that jammed up those threads, but I'm just gonna chop it off. Where's my wrench? 19. There. Alright, well that was easy. What's it say? Install upper mounting post, mount the tapered stainless steel post. Number C, on the outboard side of the sway bar end, ensuring that the click pin holes are horizontal or parallel with the ground. So that is the opposite of vertical or perpendicular. Right, Marie?
Right.
Right. And it says to use some thread lock around them, some medium strength, so we will do that. And there, it also says in this kit it is not compliant with aftermarket sway bars. This is the factory sway bar that is on the front still. Let's see if I can get a screwdriver to stick in that hole to hold it. Marie just made a good point. Something can be vertical and still parallel. Because if we're going parallel with a vertical surface, wow. Way to think that through, Marie. Way to make me look like a real idiot. I'm not doing enough during this video. It doesn't tell us what to make it parallel with, technically, I don't think. Let's see, where is it? Parallel with the ground, yeah. Never mind. Be perfectly parallel. Oh, let's see, moving on. So let's see, upper, apply medium strength Loctite. Let's see, secure taper post. Hint, a small Phillips head screwdriver punch. Prevent it from rotating. Number 3, locate the original lower drop link U bracket on the axle housing. Right here. We've located it. Insert the steel OE bracket spacer J into the U bracket. Apply Loctite. Blah, blah, blah. Good. So it is this little fella. And then this is the spacer. We might need to give it a little persuasion. Obviously, we're going to have to open that up just a smidge. Gosh, everything is in my way. Come on, fella. Use your noodle. So close, yet so far away. Oh my gosh. Let's check the other spacer. It should be exactly the same. And they are. I think it's just going to need some persuasion. A little more persuasion on that. The tie rod end. Tie rod end is right smack in the way. I don't know, fellas, these are a tad on the big side. Problem is, you know, we still have to be able to get the bolt through straight. And you start stretching them like that, they tend not to want to go in straight. Wish I had a deeper crescent wrench so I could reach in there a little bit further and tweak the inside. Outside is tweaked as far as it needs to be. I don't know if I get in there. What can you do? What can you do? Gotta think. I'll just keep stretching it. Oh, we're super close there. Just need to make that bushing just a smidge shorter. I don't think that's going to work. Maybe. There it is. It is through. Of course, when we tighten it, we'll pull them ears back in. Technically. I guess. Theoretically, I guess it would be. I don't know. Find out here in a second. It's going to be a lot of pulling. It's going to be a lot of pulling. Well, we'll give it a go. That's what anybody would do, I guess. Stick my punch in there. Probably could find a slower method than a wrench, right? Oh my gosh, get a ratchet, man. So it did pull in really nicely. The ears lined right back up. I imagine they do get smushed in, you know, using the OEM sway bar links because, you know, the rubber bushing. Oh man, I tweaked my little pick here. Get that guy back. Probably should be using a little heavier punch. 65 foot-pounds, click. So the one on the driver's side came off, easy peasy. And let's see, so this side's gonna go the same as the other side. You know, we're gonna put the pin in the top, bushing in the bottom. Now, in order to make sure that they were the same length, you know, trying to get my center to center measurement, all I did was take the pin, you know, went from, you know, from one to the next, just stacked them on top of each other just to, you know, get them as close as I possibly could. So I'm gonna work on this side. I assume the bushing, yeah, the bushing over here is quite tight. However, like I said, that side pulled in nice. I'm just gonna do the same thing, bend these ears out. In the bottom, pin in the top, put them on, give them a little toot of grease, snug them up. And then, like I said, when we set it down, we gotta make sure that our sway bar, so it pivots back here, that it's gonna be on a, you know, 25 to 30 degree upward angle. So with the sway bar links on, I took and set the vehicle down on jack stands. I put them at the height essentially to get, you know, what the ride height is going to look like. So it has just a little sag in the front. I could have went up probably another click with jack stands, but what I want to attempt to do now is get the drag link in, or not the drag link, but the track bar in. And doing it by yourself can be a little difficult. So typically you'll have the tires on it, and with the track bar off, this whole body will wobble over top of the axle. You know, it's one of the problems with these things having the death wobble. You know, that's what you get. You know, the whole body starts shimmying. So typically have tires on it, set it on the ground, have somebody turn the steering wheel, the axle will stay stationary, and then the body will move back and forth, and it allows you to line up the bolt holes in the track bar. What I do at the shop when I'm working by myself, or, you know, in this case here, I just take a ratchet strap. So I just took a ratchet strap, hooked it into the body here, and then in this case I just came out and grabbed a wheel, so now your steering wheel is going to have to be locked. In this case, mine isn't, but if you just keep the pressure centered, you know, and then you can use your ratchet strap, you know, to move the body back and forth where you're going to need it. What I'm thinking we should do, because we do have an adjustable track bar, I didn't see anything in the literature as I was glancing through it as to, you know, initial center to center set length. The adjustable end goes up on the Jeep. The bend end goes down at the bottom. Obviously, the point is, once it's, you know, the vehicle's sitting at its ride height, you want your axle to be in here center, you know, equal distance on both sides. So I don't know if we took, you know, a string and ran it, you know, tape it here to the fender, run it down, and then just measure to the center of our axle, if that'll get us really close for an initial measurement. I think that's what I'm gonna attempt to do. You know, obviously there's variables in the fenders and, you know, the axle stub shaft, but I think we can get it pretty close using that method. So you know that ball of string you have around the shop that you're never gonna use, but you're gonna remember where it is when you need it? Yeah, well, I can't find it, but I know I've seen it. Plan B, we're gonna have old Stanley help us. I got this sitting out here. I'm gonna touch it up against the fender up top on the, you know, bottom lip of the fender, make it tight, and then we'll plumb up the level. I think that is going to be our next best option as far as getting it really close. So I've got the level, let's get it as plumb as I can. So it's plumb there, and then we'll take the old tape measure from the center of the axle. Let me make sure I'm still plumb. And I've got 2 3/4 to the edge of the level. Now we'll go do it on the other side. I don't remember on the alignment machine, I don't remember if it gives us our axle offset spec on that or not. I know it doesn't on the normal setup screen. Let me just get this plumbed up here. But I believe in the settings we can find our axle offset and, you know, perhaps fine tune it. Oh, this stupid tape measure. It doesn't have denominations on both sides. It's got the split on each side. So if you go to 4, you know, half of, or 8, half 8 is 4. It gives you your half measurements on the other side. Move my tape measure out here a little bit. Graduations, I guess it would be. I don't know. Come on. On this side we're 2 7/8. So we need to pull it. Boy, I don't know, one more click. We can try it. So I just gave the ratchet strap one more click, which that's kind of what you're limited to is click sort of there. We're 2, make sure I'm plumb. 2 11/16. Check the other side, it should be about the difference. It's gotta be pretty close anyways, right? Probably closer than just guessing anyways. All right, that's plumb. We're 2, just a smidge over 3/4. Let's see, so it's got to go back that way just a little bit. I think what we'll do is we'll leave it where it's at because we're going to end up chasing this around using the ratchet strap because we can only do these little, little half clicks. Unless I can just push on the body a little bit. Let me just see. Let's see if it'll just stretch it over there a little. Let's see if we can just tweak it just a bit. I don't know if it will. Make sure we're still plumb. Well, there we're 2 and, what are we at? 5/8, 2 and 11/16, almost 3/4, just a 64th under 3/4. So that's got to have us really close. And of course, we're at the mercy of, what's plumb, what's not. That could be, a 64th of an inch variance there. So I think what we'll do, we'll leave it where it's at, leave it strapped. We're going to have to crawl under here, put the track bar in there, get it adjusted about where it is. So hopefully it stays, and then we could fine tune it with it. In order to do that, though, we have to drop it down, spin the head and stick it back up in. So I'm down on the ground on my Carolina Creeper, aka cardboard. Get a light up here so hopefully we can see. I think we're going to go for the frame end first. Get a light where everybody can see. That would be our best bet. I'm assuming we're using the original hardware. Now the sway bar, or the track bar that came with it, did have its bushings that had to be put in it. It's gonna be snug. Alright. Let me get a little alignment bar, see if we can pull that bushing up a little bit. Pretty close. Not close enough, fella. You can push it up just a smidge. There it goes. Oh, come on. Piss pedal. There we go. Bolt that we took out was pretty rusty. I just want to douche it down before we stick it in there. Starting or what? That side feels like it's started. Now we'll come to the other side, and like I say, we'll try to adjust it out so we hit the hole as close as we can for right now. Let's see, now on this one, this is the bolt that came through from the backside. It's kind of a pain in the butt to get past the bump stop, which I don't know where they bolt on. Probably could look it up. Whoops. Come on, turn back there, fella. Turn, baby, turn. There we go. Probably could lock my steering wheel at this point. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to. So as I was saying, I think we're gonna end up, putting the bolt through from the front side. And what we'll have to do, let me just give this a toot because we're going to be putting this up in and out quite a few times, I imagine. Particularly after we put the tires on it, we kind of want to fine tune it. or after we put it on the alignment machine, one or the other. Looks like it's going to be a tad long right where it's at, surprisingly. So we'll go in a little bit. Oh, I think I nailed it on my first try. Oh yeah, first try. So I'm just going to put the nut on there loosely. Like I say, we're going to run it through this direction now. It's probably completely wrong. I don't really see the difference running it from the back side or from the front side. We'll cut our ratchet strap loose, take our measurements, see if we're, somewhat close. I think we will be. See, that looks plumb. Ouch. 2 1/4. What the heck happened? Did our strap move? That's definitely plumb. That's 2 1/4, so that's going to have, we're way over. We definitely have to extend that. I'll go double check the other side, but I'm certain we will. So that was an epic fail. Good concept. Poor execution. Something moved on me, naturally. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fiddle with this. I'm not going to show the whole process. You guys, I think, get the idea. I just want to I'm going to use the ratchet strap here, get this bolt back loose because it's going to have some tension on it now. Just pull the body over, get the bolt loose. I'm going to drop the sway bar down, or the track bar, I keep calling it a damn sway bar. Make the adjustments on it and, just keep fiddling, use this ratchet strap here so I can, push it up in, wiggle it, get the bolt in. I think that's pretty much it, and then we'll see where it ends up. So I just kept fiddling with it, dropping it down, ended up bringing it out, I don't know, 7 or 8 turns from where we were. Roughly, 2 11/16 on a tape measure using, plumbing it from the fenders. I think that'll keep us close enough until, obviously until we get it on the alignment rack, kind of see how the track is sitting on it. I believe if this is like any other four-wheel drive, the front axle is a smidge wider than the back axle. And I think I can read that offset on the alignment rack and get the axle alignment perfect and get the vehicle square is going to be the biggest thing. A lot of adjustments here. So I think what we'll do is, while it's down at this height, is I'm going to go through, tighten up the track bar, get that tightened up, just snugged up. We're going to leave that where it's at for right now. And then tighten up the rubber bushings that have to be done in this, in this position. So we'll tighten up this upper control arm and the 2 front lower control arms. I'll take and get those snugged up. And we got to be getting close. We're going to be getting real close. All right, folks, I'm going to call it quits for the night. People keep stopping in and it's set me way behind. It's making it difficult to record, whatever. Anyhow. Where we left off, I tightened up the control arms, I think is all we did. I'm going to leave it at that for tonight. I'm going to try to come back tomorrow and get some more stuff done. I've got to be able to get it off the lift. Now, I don't know if we'll mount the tires up on there tomorrow or not, because we have to put the wheel spacers on, but I also have to put the front, the upgraded front axles in, so we convert it to U-joints. But to do that, I want to put the new inner axle seals in, so we got to pull the whole differential and everything out of it, pull the pumpkin out to put the inner seals in. And I just don't want to pull my wheel spacers on and off a bunch of times. I suppose we could probably put the tires on, enough to drive it and take a look at it. And perhaps, I guess the alignment can be done at any point, once it's ready. I think that's going to be, that's the process that's weighing on me a lot, because that's going to be a lot of, pull the arm off, turn it, put it back on, remeasure. I think that's the part that I'm not looking forward to the most, I guess. I don't know. I'm just disappointed with myself with the whole process at this point. Anyhow, I hope you guys are enjoying it. If you are, leave a comment down below, hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to keep up with the WJ Jeep that we got going on here, plus, all the other normal activities here on the SMA channel. Find us around socials, Patreon, all that business. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.